I would like to bring to order the September 3rd, 2025 meeting of the Sandwich Conservation Commission. My name is James Andrea. Present tonight are
Erin Chuckleson,
Kimberly Walsh,
Jonathan Klein,
Adam Negro,
Bernice Waller,
Linda Romano,
Kasha Koss.
I would like to make a motion to appoint Linda Romano as an alternate member, voting member.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Please note this meeting is being recorded live and streaming on the Sandwich Community Television. Live broadcasts can be viewed by visiting sandwichcommunitytv.org on Government Live Stream, or you can view later on Government On Demand. You can also view on local Comcast Channel 9. I'd like to remind everyone of the meeting format. For all hearings, the applicant will be allowed adequate time to present their project to the Commission. Upon completion of the presentation, the Commission will be allowed to question the applicant, ensue Commission discussion, and ask staff for comment and input. Upon completion of the Commission's and staff's discussion, I will summarize for the record any public comment received by the staff prior to meeting. I will announce public comment to the audience where any interested parties are to raise their hands. I will ask you to come up front. Please speak clearly into the microphone, stating your name, address, and affiliation for the record. 3 minutes will be allowed. All speakers are to address the Commission, not applicants or audience members. When your 3 minutes are up, I will ask you to take your seat. A reminder to all, public comment is not a Q&A forum. Upon closure of public comment, the applicant may add additional information or comment to the Commissioners. The Commissioners will deliberate among the staff. Finally, I want to remind everyone that this Commission is comprised of your neighbors volunteering our valuable time to help protect the town's natural resources to the best of our abilities. Our job is to uphold the provisions set forth by the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, as well as the Town of Sandwich Wetland Bylaws, Chapter 7. We appreciate your understanding.
Chairman, can I just interrupt? Do you mind just motioning in Kasha as all?
Oh, yes, sorry. I'll take a motion to appoint Kasha as a alternate and voting member.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, on to new filings. I'd like to open up DEP file number SC66-2055, Dunn Roman Beach Road Association filed a notice of intent for proposed vegetative maintenance, remove invasive species, vista pruning, tree removal, and mitigation for a new septic system at 5 John Brewer Road, Sandwich, Mass, map 13, parcel 1.
Good evening. For the record, my name is Wayne Tavares. I'm from Wet Tech Land Design. I'm going to stand for a second. This is a plan that incorporates a large part of Peters Pond. We have some new owners, and as this was under the ownership of a man who sold it to members that were there, the people who lived there. So the new association, typical of a new owner, wants to make a few changes. Now, they already have on this pond, and by the way, this is two-sided. This is the north side. I should put it up like that. And there's 4 cottages up here. Most of the work are done around these 4 cottages. On the back side, you'll see the ramp that goes down to the pond in the parking lot adjacent right in through here. So you can get a little bit lay of the land of where we are. Starting with the 4 cottages, the old owner did a tremendous job with this site in the sense that he got dock licenses. They're all listed here. He had a tremendous surveyor, Feldman, out of Boston. He did a tremendous job picking up contours. And you'll see that on the plan of the survey. They picked up contours, they picked up the roads, they picked up all the cottages and the beach. And the beach has a beach nourishment in perpetuity going for it. So we're working our way from the pond up to the cottages. And what the new owners propose is they have, and we put these all on the plan, they have large trees that are immediately adjacent to the cottages that over the years have created a lot of problems. So we're looking to remove trees that are very near the cottage. We flagged all the trees for removal with orange tape for those of you who have visited the site. We have flagged the invasive species to be removed. They also appear on this plan. They're flagged with blue tape. And then we have some pruning this dark area that you see out of the cottages, vista pruning that we would like to do. The vistas are fairly open right now. We're trying to establish corridors so that we don't escape from the vista and that we're able to keep the vista pruned, the shrubs pruned to 4 to 5 feet, and lifting the lower branches of the trees so that you can see under them. So this is the vista pruning corridor for the C1, C2, C3, C4, and this is the property line between Dun Roman and Sunset, which is next door. That's the old Peters Pond, if you remember. So we have vista pruning going on, and down near the beach, there's autumn olive, there's multiflora rose, there's bush honeysuckle, there is bittersweet, and this is a hard working crew. They go down there, they put in the docks, they clean up the beach, they do all the work themselves. This association that, by association, they take care of a lot of this. They will hire a certified arborist to do the pruning or climbing trees. So anything here that requires a certified arborist, I'm used to other towns requiring that. They're ahead of the game a little bit, and they would do that. They will likely take out all the invasive species. It's along the sort of the frontier between the beach, the interface between the beach and the slope going up where the vegetation is. There's some beneficial vegetation there, like wintergreen and so forth. But we've enumerated them on the plan where they are, and we've marked them with flagging, so I hope you've all seen it. I know Jenna was down there, and Jenna's seen it. We walked the whole area. So that's what we're trying to do.
Just to let you know, you're at your 3 minutes, so try to wrap up.
Okay. Vista pruning, removal of invasives, removal of trees that are in the way, and in order to mitigate that, we always bring projects with mitigation. This has cesspools in it right now, and the mitigation shows a septic system which is in the process of design that will go right up the road, eliminate all the cesspools, and be able to provide a Title V system. They have to use force mains, they have to use collection tanks, etc. And that design is almost complete. So I'm providing this because we know where it's going, where the end results is, where the leach field is, outside of the 150 feet of the pond, by the way, where the leach field is. But we're using the road that connects to these cottages for the area for the septic tank and the lines. So I hope that's sufficient mitigation. It's tremendous mitigation, actually, because it upgrades old cesspools that are how old?
Put it in the 1950s.
1950s, so 70 years old. There's my 3 minutes. Any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Thank you very much. I'd like to open up to public comment. Okay, closing public comment, open up to the staff for comment.
I have a couple notes. I think initially when we reviewed this, one plan said 5 John Ewer and another plan said 2. So I just want to make sure we're at the right location, or does it cover both?
Okay, so 5 John Ewer is 31 acres that comprises Dunmowen Campground.
Okay.
2 John Ewer is a
Yep.
home that I own opposite
Okay.
the boat ramp on the
Okay.
other side of the street that before we passed papers, we needed a corporate office to satisfy for tax reasons, so we used that mailing address.
Okay. Okay.
Introduce yourself. This is
Yeah, please, for the record.
Oh, sorry,
Sorry.
Brian Clifford, 2 John Ewer Road, Sandwich.
Thank you.
Okay, so that clarifies that. I had an issue with the perpetuity request. Typically, things in perpetuity, like sand nourishment, are, I guess, positive additions to the resource area, not things that are getting removed. So in the future, if there's other maintenance and vegetative work that needs to be done, that can be permitted via an administrative review or something similar. I just wouldn't recommend putting that maintenance in perpetuity, just because there's between changing hands and a large project like that. I don't want that maintenance to go too far or something. I'd like to be more involved and then permit that as necessary. And then I know when we went out there were definitely some trees that were super close to the cottages, and I understand why those need to be removed. But has there been any thought of replacing those trees and planting other trees, elsewhere on the property just to make up for that biomass?
To answer that question, actually, there's no place to put the trees because it's also well vegetated.
It is very well vegetated.
And we're hoping that the mitigation of upgrading to Title V is a good contra to doing that. So.
I think that was all I had. So.
I just want to add, I have an issue with in perpetuity. myself,
Yeah.
Because that's just forever. And I just,
Well, no, I'm just gonna open it up to the board. I'm just gonna open it up to the staff's all set.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
so I'm just
we're
gonna open it up to
good.
the board for deliberation. You're
oh, I'm
up.
sorry, so I just do have issue with something, voting something forever without any review.
Yeah, I don't really think that that's our policy, so, we can request things like that, we can talk that over. So a few of the things that I think we should look at as a board is the amount of removals being requested. So there are a lot of removals being requested and there is no revegetation being requested. I think the request for the septic work to be considered mitigation is maybe not reaching the goals, our goals to protect the resource and protect the biomass that is stabilizing the bank. So I think that there's something to think about somehow replacing, I stopped counting, over 200 caliper inches of trees are going to be removed. There's a lot of shrub mass that's being removed. So I think a plan that is looking for invasive removal should be replacing the vegetation, specifically shrubs like more one-for-one trees. You're not going to place them in the same place, but there should be some habitat and green mass created. Black locusts, yes, they are invasive, but they are also the first pollinating trees and a big. They're a big part of our pollinator community here on the Cape, and I would hate to see you just remove 3 locusts in the middle of that parking lot planting for no reason, when I know that there are benefits to that. So I would be looking for a plan that shows some more mitigation to restore what you're removing. And also, I would like to see the proposed septic systems before we approve any septic work within our jurisdiction.
Can I just second that entire thing, everything that that Bernice just said? She's absolutely right about the trees, the removal of the trees. There's too many, there's not enough mitigation, the same exact notes that I had, so I'll just second that motion.
Right, and that's the request for mitigation crosses over into sort of the health department's jurisdiction, where I think we want to stay within what we can do as a conservation board and deal with plantings and vegetation and such. So I love the idea that you're doing that, but I don't think it's necessarily a mitigation that we would be looking for. I do think we need some trees, at least 1-to-1 or something, because there is habitat there. So.
Sure, I'd like to add to that. If there isn't a lot of space, smaller caliper trees could be installed. I think a 1-to-1 at a minimum is also maybe not putting them in the Vista corridor. It seems like there's plenty of space to add some outside of the Vista, especially if there's invasive species removal. But yeah, I think significant mitigation would be required if they're going to remove, like Bernice said, biomass. So obviously we would entertain native species over invasive species. I would say that the removal of black locust would be beneficial because it does spread by seed. So if you're doing a proper restoration, if we can come up with some native alternatives that are better, and probably a couple different species, not just the juniper, maybe some oaks. It's good keystone species here.
Tupelo maybe.
Tupelo is great.
Love it here.
Yeah, I think generally they're about the same price if you can get them at smaller sizes. So red maple's also another good choice. But yeah, I would say any tree removal would be sufficient at a 1-to-1 ratio.
What about Vista? Maybe Jenna or Alex, you can tell me. for the Vista pruning, is this a one-time pruning? What's historic for how
So,
Vista pruning is handled?
yeah, so Vista pruning, I mean, if it was just Vista pruning, usually depending on the extent and variables are done under an administrative review, which is good for 6 months. If they want to, if this was granted with an order of conditions, they could Vista prune, I don't know, seasonally, once a year during, the growing season or the camping season when people are there. And then, after that 3 years, it would have to either be extended or an administrative review or something like that. So it's typically, I would say once a season,
Once a season.
yeah. Or when people are gonna be out there enjoying the vista,
And is there regulations for how high it has to be, breast height? Do we
Yeah, I
have
think it's
anything like that?
3 to 4 feet. I don't know if that's a specific regulation, but that's been the standard policy.
How is the Vista corridor for each of the cottages calculated? Is there a reg? Is our regs 25%?
So you can cut underbrush 3 to 4 feet in height, and then for trees, it's selective limbing. So if there's a tree in the middle of your vista, you're not to, just chop it at 3 to 4 feet. You can kind of cut limbs and shape it so you're able to look through specific windows versus the whole, thing.
So these Vista windows, how was the distance calculated?
We've used the criteria from some other towns that we've used, along with yours, and usually they have this cone shape along the vista that's there, plus the vista that's open. So what we did, we weren't too worried about the shrub height because we are sitting up high on the cottages, so the shrub height would be cut. I should get this all together, I guess. I don't think we're arguing the shrubs so much, but the shrub height will be cut down. When you cut down shrub height or any shrubs, the growth that it stimulates from the bottom makes for more wildlife habitat. That's the shrub layer. Removing the invasives and replacing them, I agree and disagree at the same time. I agree. I usually provide a copious list of plants to replace, and in this case, thinking that the mitigation was the Title V upgrade, I did not provide the list. But I'll be glad to go back and use the invasive species that will remove those areas and replace them. But I would say that I would replace them more with shrubs than trees. There is a lot of trees that exist out there, and what's left is immense. To put a tupelo is a good suggestion, by the way, if you put back any trees. But you're losing 200 inches or whatever it is. That is so tree laden right now that that's what we're hoping to trade off with an upgrade of the Title V. If we didn't upgrade Title V, look at the interest of the act and the narrative that I put. I'm comparing all the interests of the act, including wildlife habitat and pollution. And I think they balance each other in such a way that the removal of invasives is a plus. The tree removal is up in the air because it is tree removal, but it's right near these cottages. It's for a safety reason. And the pruning will only enhance because the regulation calls for, I believe it's 4 feet. So when you're at 4 feet, you're only topping things like sweet pepper bush, blueberries, and so forth, which is not their standard height. It's just like 6 feet, but they thicken up, and the wildlife habitat is basically enhanced. Or if you don't want to believe me, go sideways. It's not degraded. It is sideways. I think it's upgraded, improving. The other thing about perpetuity is with other towns, what I've worked out is let the client test the site, do these vista prunings, and have Jenna come out and look at it. Gives us a thumbs up or say, hey, you guys went too crazy, and give us feedback. And then every year for 2 or 3 years, we have a test period that she comes out and looks at it, after which we have to ask every spring or every November for permission to do this under administrative review. And if we've been good doobies, as they say, and done a good job for 3 years, and we have a test record, that's what my experience in other towns is to provide this letter, have you come out, look at it, and say thumbs up, hopefully. And then that's it. Once the trees are cut, they're gone. So there's no more encroachment. The pruning of the trees continually is an enhancement. The removal of the invasive speaks for itself. And then there, I have to agree with you, replace it with something, so I'll provide a list. But I would suggest it be strongly shrub laden. That area is not subject to erosion. It's tremendous wildlife habitat, and it's tremendous fighting erosion. There's no need to have more trees. They have one of the biggest beaches, just out of curiosity, just out of interest, up by their well on Cape Cod. I mean, it's suffering from the beach.
Sorry.
So I digress, I'm sorry.
Okay, real quick, so as to the in perpetuity, this is an association, right?
Yes.
Board members change, right?
No.
The board members never change?
Yeah, they change.
Yeah.
They change.
Yeah, they change. The seven of us on the board.
Right.
Two come up for re-election next year, and then three
So they
the
change.
next year, and then three the next. So
they change.
it could be forever changing.
Yes.
Two of the intern ones have already been replaced with two
Right.
different ones in the last.
So thank you, they change, right? Okay, so that would preclude for me the in perpetuity statement, just because you don't know if you guys could be good newbies, but you get a whole new board in and you never know what's gonna happen.
I thought I just took that off the table, though. No perpetuity.
Okay, you took
We're
that.
asking-
I didn't
Okay.
hear that either.
What's
I
that?
didn't hear
Hear
that.
that either.
Yeah,
I think it's something that it comes down to the order of conditions and something that we all,
yeah.
talk about. It seems like they want to go on.
Inspection once a year.
Right.
You took that off the
And then
table?
go to
Yeah.
administration. Yeah.
Forgive me.
The beach renourishment zone, that was just to show that on the plan, right? There's no plans to put any more renourishment in.
They already have. Explain that, Brian, do you mind?
The former owner got permits to do it I believe forever. And every year, he would take one dump truck of sand and replenish the sand at the beach.
So like 4 tons a year, pretty much,
Uh,
maybe a little less.
Usually one time a year for each cottage beach.
Okay,
We have not done it since we purchased it in January.
yep.
He did it last fall.
So you'd be willing to make the provisions?
So sand nourishment is like the only thing I've ever encountered that was ever like granted in perpetuity, just because everywhere needs more sand. Typically, it's a beach thing, but I can look back and see when that permit was issued, if it was pre-1972.
No, just seeing if that was
but-
part of this, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, to kind of put it together, if you could provide the list of, the invasive
Native
ones that are coming
replacement
out.
plants.
Yeah, native replacement. I think the board in past plans, applications that come through, a 1-to-1 means, a tree's down, a tree goes up, a shrub goes down, a shrub goes up. So if you feel very sure that a shrub replacement would be better when you remove one tree, then I would suggest doing a 1-to-2 in that type of scenario. But I think the board, and I might, if anyone wants to chime in, would like to see the 2 options of a tree. And what do you guys say from the expert side? If you saw 1 tree removed and 2 shrubs replaced in the.
I think, you want to kind of do a balance of both, right? So I think that would be subject to your interpretation of what you see that you need. But I would like to see, because I know birds love to hang out in trees, hawks love to hang out in trees, some trees to remain for this 200 caliper inches plus that you're removing. So it's not necessarily going to be like 1 tree doesn't stand for 1 shrub. 1 tree, if you look at the biomass of 1 tree, how many shrubs are in that 1 tree? Maybe there's 10 shrubs in that 1 tree. Like, how big is it? Like, use some kind of judgment like that to balance it out if you're looking for shrubs over trees. Like, because that's how I would look at it, is like mass for mass of the canopy. And then it looks like you do have, you're going to be putting in tight tanks with grinders. Is that what you're doing? Yeah. Do you have generators on your system, on your houses for for, because that system relies on electric to,
Right, there'll be I think the plan, Glenn Harrington's designing the plan as we speak, and there'll be our understanding, there'll be a generator for the pump-up system.
so you'll have it on a
Containment,
generator.
yeah.
It'll be on a generator for the pump-up
Yeah.
system, yes.
Yeah,
We apologize for that.
yeah, good.
Yeah, the plan is still in the preliminary. He sent us a rough draft before he went on vacation this past week. We just got it like last Thursday.
Yeah.
That's why I just wanna have that plan with this file so that we can understand all the components and, because those tight tank systems, they do work really well. They do require electricity to work,
Right.
and so you wanna
Especially a
generate
backup to it as well, yeah.
Yeah.
The topography also calls for force mains, which are gonna require that electricity. So,
Been out to the site except for Jenna?
I didn't go because I was worried it was like vacation rentals.
Okay, yeah.
That was on, but I'm happy to go if anybody wants to do a site visit, we can schedule one, I think it might be good.
I understand what he's saying with the thickness and you know what I'm saying, that there may be something we can see if we can see it, you know what I mean?
I think so too.
Yeah, I think it's all well and good to replace with trees too, but we should I know there's probably some that are close to the cottages, and if they're hazardous, that's one thing, but if it's just that they're in a vista corridor and they're sort of inconvenient.
there's hardly any, and I think there's two, and that's because they're past their prime, or they're leaning. We have one oak that's badly leaning. We're not taking down, for example, there's pignut hickory out there too. We're not taking down any of those. We're taking down just trees that need to be, and it has nothing to do with the vista. The ones that are in the vista, we'd like to prune up and limb up so that the vista is improved vertically. But width-wise, we almost have what we want. We're just cleaning up the edges just to make it clear, and we're keeping down the tops.
So it's a pretty big project. Do we want to do this?
Yeah, so, the next meeting is September 17th. Oh, yeah.
I'm there almost all the time.
Yeah, so,
I'd be happy to give anybody and everybody a tour. Just contact us.
we're actually gonna pick it, so the next meeting would be the 17th
Okay.
for here. So if we could do one in the next 2 weeks, does anyone have a date if they wanna do it, maybe next week?
It's not, I don't have my calendar. but-
Just not what?
Just not the weekend, please.
Yeah,
We can, what about,
that's
That's
the
the
weekend,
weekend.
you just said the weekend.
what about Wednesdays? Like the other
Wednesdays are
Wednesday?
fine, yeah?
The odd Wednesday, the 10th.
Wednesday?
Yeah.
And the cottages are basically empty, with the exception of 1 week rental coming up in September. So you can get right up in the porches and
Right.
Okay.
look at the view.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what,
So do we wanna set it for Wednesday the 10th, is there a time?
Like 5.
Does that work for you?
Does that work?
Let
Make
me
that
do it real
for
quick. Yeah. What time?
Like
5.
5.
Yeah, unless I'm working a game.
We could also go separately because he said he's home all the time.
Right.
Wednesday, 9:10?
Mhm.
Yeah.
At what time?
That would-
We're thinking 5, but Jeremy's checking.
Or like 4.
Or like 4?
Yeah,
I mean, I could make
You could do it during my window, that'd be
That's
cool.
true, poor Jenna says.
I think I have a meeting till 3 and then.
Yeah.
Or 3, 3 is fine.
Yeah, I think 4.
Let's do 4, does that work?
4 o'clock?
That's still better than.
Make it.
And where do we meet?
We'll meet at the site, 5 John Ewing, just go down and
The,
go down the road right to the.
So let's meet at the state boat ramp.
the boat ramp is
best
gonna be
place
your
to
best
go.
bet.
Met
Yeah.
Jenna.
Address for that.
There all the time. Perfect.
Will we be able to scoop
Boat
out?
ramp.
I'll get it to you.
I mean, I'll be able to find.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll meet you there.
Oh.
Yeah, once you go down there, there's only one way to go. If you get into the development, you've gone too far. So-
So going to the water, but don't go in.
For the work that,
We'll let you go swimming if you want.
for the work we talked about,
I don't want
to put together, like the list of plants and all that, is September 17th enough time for you to do
Yeah,
that?
that's 2 weeks from now.
Okay, so we'll do a continuance to September 19th,
With the
17th.
meeting at September 10th at 4
Yeah,
o'clock.
and a site visit September
Site
10th
visit. Okay.
at 4 o'clock.
Is that a Wednesday?
That is a Wednesday.
So it's next Wednesday, actually.
I would, okay.
Last question?
Yes.
So, do we have a date for the septic? Because I think in order to approve the plan, do we want to see an as-built for the septic as well?
You can't see an as-built until it's built. You mean a finished plan?
Yeah.
Well, the septic is out of jurisdiction, isn't it?
The leaching field
The
is.
leaching
okay,
field
okay.
is, yeah, but the tight tanks and the piping,
Yeah, we'll wanna see that on the plan.
yeah, okay. So it's close, because he sent us
So do you think that 17th date would be appropriate to see that as well in order for us to approve it?
I'll push him, I know him.
You should have been up here.
Glenn's on vacation. Glenn, when he sent the plan a week ago, this past Thursday, and he said, "I'm now taking a well-deserved two-week vacation."
2 weeks, okay.
So I don't really see us having a plan other than what we've got, which is a we can show you the preliminary plan, but that he sent us.
I mean, and our order of conditions is only as good as long as it's approved by health. So
Right.
if the health department approves it, then it's good with us too.
Yeah, so why don't we just, how about, we'll set it for the 17th to continue here, and we'll do the site visit the 10th, and you could just bring the Mylars there, and we can all look at them.
Yeah, 10 to 4 o'clock.
Yeah, if we have questions, we'll bring it up in the next meeting, or
Yes.
before.
Sounds good, and I'll have the list by the 17th. I might even have it by the 10th.
Nice.
So we can look at that.
Okay.
All right then.
All right.
Thank you.
I would like to make a motion to continue DEP file number SE 66-2055 Roman Beach Club Association filed notice of intent for vegetation maintenance, remove invasive species, vista pruning, tree removal and mitigation at 5 John Ewan Road, map 13, parcel 1.
Second.
All in favor? Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Pete.
All right, opening up new filings. DEP file number SC 66-2056 Gene Diadicio, care of environmental consulting and restoration, filing notice of intent for proposed construction of a detached garage at Three Shore Drive, Forestdale, Mass, map 7, parcel 152.
Those are the revised. Yes.
So you have those, and then
Okay.
I'm not that skilled with the computer to be able to transmit to there, but I brought some extra paper copies if that helps.
Thank you very much.
I can cast it on the TV if you like.
That would be great. Hopefully this helps, but it's
Thank you.
a little bit smaller plan. Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening, members of the commission. I'm Brad Holmes with Environmental Consulting and Restoration. We've filed a notice of intent for a proposed garage at Gene Diadico's house at Three Shore Drive. It's hopefully I have trouble with it.
I apologize for messing up.
As you can see on the screen, thanks for putting that up there. What we're proposing is a detached garage just within the buffer zone. We're partially in, partially out, about 83 feet from the bordering vegetated wetland. The garage sits within an area that's void of vegetation. It's lawn now, so there won't be any significant impacts to the buffer zone. We did have some coordination with Jenna, and we answered some questions on the slab foundation and added some topography to the plan. I think this is a fairly simple project. There's not much more I can say, but I can answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. All right, I'd like to open it up to public comment. I'd like to close public comment, open up to the board for any staff comment.
Yeah,
Sorry,
so
staff.
no
Sorry.
worries. I think we addressed everything during our brief correspondence, any concerns that I had regarding drainage and then the topo and foundation stuff. That all seems to be satisfied. My main concern was, right now when water hits the ground, it goes into the ground and, prevents any type of erosion or sediment from flowing into the pond. So I just want to make sure that's addressed with gutters and downspouts, like we said, whether those are French drains or dry wells. I just don't want the runoff from the shingles and, everything that's getting into the resource area. The topo was shown because when I did a site visit, I noticed, that's a pretty steep grade behind the house, and that really wasn't reflected on the plan initially. So, because it really just kind of goes right down to the pond. And I know where the area of the proposed garage is going is all lawn right now, but maybe adding some mitigation plantings, shrubs, things like that, and even if they're like along the garage as kind of like a landscaping, just to kind of help filter any runoff into the pond. I think would be helpful, so.
Yeah, we're not opposed to adding some plantings.
Awesome.
That could be something that we can work out.
Yeah, I can condition that
Sure.
to be however we want it to go, so. Yeah, those are my really only concerns. It seems pretty straightforward. It's just a lawn now, so not a huge issue there.
All right, I'd like to open up the board for any questions.
My concern was drainage, making sure that we have gutters, or you're capturing the leaders, and some kind of filter strip of vegetation. I wouldn't put it up against the back of the garage. I would see if you can find a place that's kind of more towards the pond, that is kind of at the end of the more manicured area that's around, and kind of leading towards the naturalized area, so it can help infiltrate there.
Yes, so if you look in the notice, there's, about middle, you'll see some photographs. You can see it on the plan. There's a small, retaining wall there. So that's kind of, you're looking across the proposed garage.
Mm-hmm.
So there isn't going to be a lot of room to add plantings between the proposed garage and that lawn strip in the wall. But there are opportunities as you look down the slope towards the pond to add some plantings in that area.
Yeah.
So we can put something together and
Okay.
accomplish that.
Yeah. So are you comfortable with them working with you on the mitigation if we stipulate, how should we, if we condition this?
Yeah, so I mean, how many plants we would want, and then, trees versus shrubs, and if there's like as far as species goes, we can leave that up to just native plantings. Really, I would just need, what kind of ratio you want to see, or how many we want to see.
Yeah, I did the calculated disturbance within the 50 to 100 if we met sort of a 1-to-1. It looks like it's already vegetated, so it could be kind of like put in. I think closest to the resource area would be best. I don't think trees are necessary, but I think if we beefed up that vegetated buffer strip down by the water, and maybe even included some seed mixes too, just stabilize that slope.
We can look at that. There's no issue with that. As you can see, we're not proposing any removal. So there's no removal of we're not taking a tree down or taking out a shrub to accomplish the project. It's going to sit within an area of existing lawn. There are open, areas within the slope leading to the pond that we could add some shrubs. Adding trees there, I don't think is going to be successful because we already have a pretty good canopy. They're just going to be shaded out, but there are open spots that we could add some to increase the stability. So, we're not opposed to that.
Sure. Yeah. No, I think again, so where it's already vegetated, where that meets. I think if we had the plantings closer to the resource area, it would be better than just beyond where the disturbance where the lawn currently is.
I hear you. Right.
Yeah.
To try to increase the vegetative buffer, so you're protecting the pond.
Okay.
22 shrubs is what I calculated to give you. Yeah. Did you? Yeah. So I think 22 shrubs will condition that for you to work with staff on where those go.
We're definitely up for that. As far as the calculation for the number.
I just swagged a 15 by 24 area and then divided by 4 feet on center for the shrubs, and that's how I came up with the 22.
Okay.
That's our starting point. You can give us more.
I'm not opposed to that. I have a native nursery myself, so we'll look at that. 4 feet on center, I know that's probably in your regulations. Is
4 feet on center was just the way I
No,
came up with the 1-to-1.
I
If
get
you're
it.
going to be sprinkling them, I think around.
we wouldn't put them 4 feet on center for sure out
Yeah.
in the woods. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is normally if you're, I don't have your regulations handy. I'm not here to argue number of shrubs, but 4 feet on, when I space out a project, I usually use 8 feet on center for shrubs. DEP says 8 to 10, and trees would be 12 to 15. So 4 feet is, pretty dense.
3 feet is kind of where Falmouth is on their regulations. We don't necessarily have a standard practice for on center. But most conservation agencies, like within the Cape, are kind of a standard at 3 feet on center.
I know
So we're
that.
going for, it's 22 shrubs, hardly any.
Yeah, no, and then by the time we argue about it and put $150 fee and we come back for another meeting and we're fighting about number of shrubs, we've just blown it right there. So
Yeah, I think
I'm not.
We look at one.
My opinion is that the garage. I mean, I was thinking like 6 to 12 shrubs to interplant in there. 22 seems a lot for this project, but again, we'll.
Why don't we meet in the middle between the 12 you were thinking of and the 22?
16, 18 shrubs. I mean, I think.
18 shrubs it is.
Okay.
4 feet on center.
She was only using that for a calculation.
Okay.
If
Yeah.
they,
So
they're, I think they're gonna
shrubs where they
sprinkle around the project.
We'll find areas that could use shrubs.
Yeah.
so.
It's the buffer.
I don't want to either.
Yeah, that's what
I think it's good to clarify, our regulations don't have an exact calculation like other towns. We're typically doing a 1-to-1, so that any disturbance in the buffer zone, we kind of have that as a standard. I think the 4 feet is good, but if there's some bigger plants that need a little bit more space than that.
The only reason I'm being difficult is because we're not taking
Not
out
taking
anything.
anything out.
It's going into lawn. We're certainly open to it. I just didn't want to burden with a more expense than,
But, and I'd assume.
It's
they're not-
18 shrubs. It's
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I'd assume
I mean,
you'd
I'm
be
just telling
making
you
some
where we're
beds
going.
around
Sure.
the garage too, you know what I mean, for aesthetics.
And we always put in there that any landscape plantings would be native species. So
Exactly.
maybe she might put some clusters of bearberry or
Yeah.
something along the back, some things like that.
Awesome.
Use the Cape Cod Cooperative Extension list, and she could pick from things like that to add around the home. But we'll get a plant list for the 18 shrubs.
I like that. Okay. Is, that's good?
Yeah.
All right, everything works?
I
Okay.
think sounds
Do a
great.
motion for, a special.
Motion to approve DEP file number SC 66-2056, Jean Diatico, care of Environmental Consulting and Restoration LLC, 3 Shore Drive, Forestdale, Mass, with standard and discussed conditions.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Moved. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
All right, opening DEP file number, for new filings, DEP file number SC 66-1841 AM1, Evergreen Realty Trust, care of Roger Cox, has filed a request to amend an existing orders of conditions, DEP file number SC 66-81841, for the proposed second floor bedroom addition at 110 Saltmarsh Road, East Sandwich, Mass, located at map 85, parcel 4. Hi.
Hi, I'm Roger Cox, and we want to put a second floor addition on the house. And, basically, say, I guess, we want to amend the order of conditions.
Perfect, okay. Is there any public comment? All right, no public comment, open up to the board. Sorry, the staff.
Yeah, so I know we had talked about wanting to do a second floor addition on the home. There was no change in footprint and no change in the amount of pilings that are needed. I did do a quick site visit and spoke with the homeowner. If you look at the house, it's kind of an L shape, and they're just kind of filling that gap to make it a rectangle. It looks to make sense to me to add that up there. I don't think there'll be any more impact to the dune than building the house was. So I had no real concerns at that point. I know last meeting we went forward with a formal amendment, so that would just move forward as that. So.
Any, open it up to the board for any questions or comments?
Can I just ask what the original approval was for?
The house.
The reconstruction of the house, or?
I don't remember if it was a raise and rebuild because of a storm. I think it was because of a storm. And the reason she didn't put the addition on at the time was a financial issue. So.
No change to footprint, so sounds good to me, sir.
All right, we can do a motion to amend. Motion to approve amendment, how about that?
Yeah, that one.
What was that?
Standard and special conditions would include all where the work limit and where the debris would go in the construction
Original plan.
sites. Okay.
Who wants it?
Motion to amend and approve DEP file number SE 66-1841 AM 110 Salt Marsh Road, East Sandwich, Mass. With standard and special conditions.
All in
As
favor?
discussed.
All in favor?
Aye.
Moved. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna move the agenda, other business.
We have one more.
Oh, I'm just reading that in, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, hold on one second.
make
This will
a
take 2
motion
seconds,
to-
sorry, I didn't mean to.
You just said, yeah, make a
Right.
motion to approve it.
Okay, on to continue filings, a motion to approve
We'll just bring it up
a request for withdrawal without prejudice for DEP file number SE 66-2050, Eric and Joanne Burke Sherman, care of Green Sierra Environmental, for the notice of intent for a proposed addition over existing single-family dwelling at 355 Phillips Road, Sandwich, Mass, located 95, parcel 45. Do you want me to read this in? Okay. Yeah, okay, all right.
Take a second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay, open it up to other business, come on up.
So, I'm sorry, I was signing this. What did we just vote on?
We voted
Continuing the
to,
application again?
they are withdrawing without prejudice, so they are allowed to come back here and start with a new clean slate if they ever want to proceed forward with that project, but right now that project is not
All right, so
happening.
that is at 355 Phillips Road.
Yep, which they had 3 meetings here,
Thank you.
which we will forget when we just voted on it. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Brian Everett, 25 Madison Drive, East Sandwich. Thank you for letting me speak during an open comment period. I want to thank the conservation staff for getting back to me very promptly with emails, phone calls, etc. You mind if I have a seat? So I reached out to Jenna because I identified that the Discovery Hill NIMBA project is in priority habitat. NIMBA came before the board on June 4th, and watching the video, the project applicant wasn't sure if it was in NHESP habitat. Jenna said that she would look into it. It is in priority habitat. Jenna provided me with an email from April 10th from NHESP saying that the project's been approved. I reached out to Natural Heritage, asked for the filing paperwork. There is nothing on Discovery Hill on that filing from the approval on April 10th. I guess, Jenna said the project's approved. The trail member's been out there cutting. The trail is well farther than 48 inches in width. You can almost drive a truck down there. It's probably closer to 6 to 8 feet in width.
At which parts?
Closer to the stump dump end, down through that little swale, that frost bottom. I've had 6 dirt bikes come through. And it's just, quite a shame. And I'm totally confused as to the whole timeline. The project applicant came before you guys June 4th. Jenna provided me with paperwork saying that it's approved April 10th, so why would they even have to come before the board on June 4th?
If I may.
Yes.
I think the date confusion, they likely filed with and I don't know for certain, but they likely filed with NHESP prior to seeing us because they knew we were going to ask for that letter, a confirmation saying, because if they didn't, we would have then recommended you need to file with NHESP. The NHESP letter that they submitted with conditions is in relation to construction of the hub. If, I'm assuming, and NEMBA's not here to argue on their behalf, but they supplied NHESP with whatever their application requires. I haven't seen it. I have never had to file with NHESP personally. So NHESP took that information from NEMBA. Maybe there was correspondence in there about what was going on and the work that they were doing. And in turn, they issued that, that letter with the conditions.
Yeah.
If there's an issue with their filing requirements, or you feel that that should be held to a different standard or differently, we don't have NHESP jurisdiction. We simply see the habitat and go, hey, you guys need to file with them.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where that stops. So
But nothing in that filing is from Discovery Hill.
according to what you've provided.
No, I saw the file from Natural Heritage. There's no map.
But that did not come from, if that came from Natural Heritage to you, then that needs to be followed up with you and Natural Heritage. What we've been provided is the permission Natural Heritage gave them. We don't have the jurisdiction to go, hey, this isn't good enough.
How long, like, why would you, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No. We definitely appreciate you coming here, because I've been here twice, and they came back and they said that they weren't gonna do anything over 4 feet. They told us that it was gonna be a good path and that it's 4 bikes, and so the dirt bikes, I understand your frustration with that. Natural Heritage gave us just a notification that they filed. They don't have to go get it surveyed or anything like that.
expect them to
They
do
gave
that.
us the letter with the condition.
Yeah.
Or NEMA did anyway.
Okay, yeah, so once we have that letter,
But Discovery Hill's not on that approved application.
And that, I'm sorry, but then that needs to be addressed with NHESP.
So,
That's their application.
okay, but why wouldn't you guys review it and say, all right, this is
Because we don't
applicable?
review NHESP applications.
It
That's
just
the
seems
state.
fishy that, you required people to get Natural Heritage approval, and then that new project is not even mapped in the application, so that if you're reviewing what Natural Heritage approved,
Yeah.
the trail isn't on there.
So I do want to understand this, to know what you're talking about.
Have you
Is
provided it in the
it
course?
possible that the letter that we don't necessarily know the zone or the area of impact that the natural heritage letter is the scope of work that the natural heritage letter covers? Is that the issue or
So-
potentially the issue?
I mean, I don't know what the application for NHESP conditions look like. We don't, that's not our jurisdiction. This
They
project.
basically give a letter that says they reviewed they
I know what the
typically give a
letter-
letter that
yes.
says they reviewed the application that has been
Mm-hmm.
submitted to them, which is presumed to be the application that gets submitted
yeah,
to
like they
us.
they can't use an old letter or something.
No, this
Right.
letter's up to date,
Yeah.
it has an active date, I believe. Typically, they're good for 5 years, but we don't see, and we don't, other than telling applicants to apply, we don't have any, authority or able to review the application because we're not the state organization. The most we can do is say, yep.
That
they got
does feel
permission.
like a little bit of a loophole.
Yeah,
because you can submit
the
one thing
application
and then-
doesn't even put them on the map, like, this is not even the map of the application that goes with
But
it.
I think at that point, that's NHESP's job to
Right.
follow up with their application. If someone submitted a notice of intent and the address was wrong or something, we're gonna follow up with that. Obviously, we wouldn't issue a permit with wrong information.
I think it would be different if this was a wetlands. If we were seeing a plan and we received a letter from Natural Heritage, they would require a stamp plan because there's a DEP connection to it. This is happening on conservation land, so therefore there's no jurisdiction for us with wetlands protection bylaws. Our job is to understand that they filed with NHESP. It's their jurisdiction to justify whether or not the activities that happen affect the endangered species that are surveyed on that site. So if they didn't submit the required information to NHESP, it's NHESP's job to say, you need to send us a plan, you need to send us,
We need more info.
but,
So who tells them that?
yes.
Well, so you touched base with them, right? Obviously, you saw the plan, and there's no Discovery Hill on it.
Yeah, I spoke with Natural Heritage.
So I would, if I were you, I would call them and say, where is this map?
It really
Because-
stinks that this is, the onus is going on one person though,
Sure.
like to.
This is how town government works.
To figure out, yeah, I know, that really does stink.
Yeah.
I get the logistics of it, but if this were me and I had a board of 10 people and they were saying, you need to go, I'd be like, what is going on
Yeah,
here?
what's
Because it
Well, can
falls
we
out
ask
of-
for the letter?
We have
The letter.
I think
The
because
letter, it's not the
it
letter that's
falls
in
out of
question.
our
We just don't, yeah.
jurisdiction.
Yeah.
I believe
What's
Yeah.
included?
How much do you review? So if you get other applicants and, Natural Heritage says, okay, but you guys don't see,
No, we
The
don't.
application?
It's like, we're here, they're here. So they just tell us,
They
you
above
can
us.
move forward.
There's step
So,
one.
yeah, it's
Wait a
there.
minute, we give them, don't they get the plans? Don't we
If
give
they're,
them the
if
plans?
they're, if it's a wetlands filing, it's the applicant's job to send NHESP whatever they require. I don't know if they require plans
We
or
don't
not, I would
go,
assume
oh,
they
this
would.
is the neighbor's property? Like, we
It's
don't
not,
check,
that's
like-
not us.
They
Yeah,
don't
that's
work
them.
with us at all.
Wow.
No, they send us a letter, said they looked it over, and
have
they tell us to
minimum-
move on.
They have minimum filing requirements.
Even if we ask for it, there's nothing we can do to it.
Right, we can't even see the application. Oh,
Okay,
we couldn't bring the application.
What I would suggest is you
We can't do
give them a
anything
call.
with it.
1 second.
Yeah.
The other thing is that the applicant came before you guys as a new project on June 4th. That letter was issued April 10th.
So he
all
came
this-
under other business. He didn't file an NOI.
Yeah, but any project that occurs within a conservation area or that occurs, this is from your website, the conservation website, any area that gets work done in priority habitat has to get reviewed by natural heritage.
Right,
This has not been reviewed by natural heritage.
yes, that's the letter they issued.
They said they issued a letter.
That's natural heritage.
So if any, you guys have the filing to natural heritage, you don't?
No, the problem is if Natural
State
Heritage
organization.
rejected the project, we would have a letter saying this was rejected by Natural Heritage,
And
therefore
then we can't issue a
approve
permit.
it.
Right.
We gotta.
That's
we
the
gotta-
only jurisdiction we have with that.
Okay, so can you see my frustration there? If I
Yes.
say,
Yes.
stop.
Oh, yeah.
It's frustrating.
Nothing's on there of this project that's in priority habitat, so it's not really.
The priority habitat is not our jurisdiction, that's
So-
the.
So the only permission we
recourse.
grant is, this is conservation owned property, do you wanna allow NEPA to create this bike path? The priority habitat issue is an NHESP issue.
Yeah.
If you as a board want to ask them to stop until this gets resolved, that can be discussed with NEPA. But whether or not this is, the work that they're doing affects, the habitat and could result in a prohibited take and all of that, that's all under them. That's not anything
So I
that we
can
can
lie
go
to
by.
natural heritage up and down about a different project on a different part of town, submit it, and if I get approval, just give it to you and say.
Well, so
I
that's
got
what it
Wait,
seems
let's-
like.
let's not get-
I
let it go.
I think we're
Carry.
missing, I
Yeah.
honestly think there's a clerical error here because they submitted with correspondence a letter back to us. So if that letter was fraudulently obtained, that's a
whole other-
huge
Yeah,
issue
that's
for
wrong.
them.
That's-
It's what they submitted.
But you do understand the difference of like where our limitations
Sure,
are.
yeah,
Okay,
you
so like,
can't do that.
I don't wanna sound like we're just blindly turning an eye, but when Natural Heritage sits a lot higher than us, so when they send us a letter to us, we
It's like,
take
okay.
that, well, we have to, we don't fight them,
It
because.
doesn't have anything on Discovery Hill on the house.
So then that is a huge problem, and I would suggest that you call them and say, where the hell is this paper?
I'm waiting
Because
for-
it sounds like they just didn't include a piece of paperwork, because if they gave us something that said you can do a project here.
All they submitted was stuff for Maple Swamp, behind Oak Ridge, all the projects that they proposed.
None of
with
that
the
came
Moore
in front of
contract.
us.
I've been doing a lot of research.
What they submitted came in front of us,
Yeah.
and then, from my understanding of the email trail, you emailed with NHESP, asked for their filing,
Right.
and they sent you back that information.
Right, it was just Maple Swamp.
So I don't, whether that got lost in the transaction between NHESP and you, or that wasn't submitted, again, that
I
has
was on
nothing
the
to do with
phone
us.
with them.
Can
quite
we
a bit.
clarification? Can we just like ask NIMBA for clarification?
Yeah, can we bring them in, because I
Just
feel
ask
like
them.
that's a.
Yeah.
Or write them a letter to say, can you just send us that real quick? I don't think they care. I mean, let's get
Well,
it.
it's
You
not
guys
just
want
send us
copies of the
that,
filing
it's,
from Natural Heritage? What's like a
we just need to
form?
make sure that they filed with
To
NHESP.
get the chain of command without any, I think we should get it from them. I know what you're saying, but I think we need to get it from them to make sure it's what it is.
To kind of wrap it up, I think that's a big point we need to figure out. And you brought up two other points, the 6 to 8 feet. I'm gonna rely on Jeremy for that one.
And I think I want to go see it.
Yeah.
Where your house is a carriage road. So the fact that like that's an existing 200-year-old road,
Yeah,
which
I
I think understand. I would also want it that clear. It should be. And it's already, they wouldn't have needed much work. I think going in there, ultimately, like if we're thinking access, which is multi-purpose, I think 6 to 8 is really what we're looking at. So if they're hitting 10, I mean, that is the concern would be larger vehicles would be able to get in there. 6 to 8 feet, I think, is for safety, like a reasonable size. If we're thinking there's going to be bicycles, we have horses out there, and there's walkers. So the 6 to 8 feet, I think, is for a safety purpose,
But
probably decent as a width.
The applicant only says they're gonna go over 48 inches.
Yeah, I mean.
And like, if we're gonna hold people
They're
accountable,
doing different things.
building a garage on grass and they have to put in 20 shrubs or something.
It was 18, we negotiated down.
Yeah. But I think the other thing that we need to know is like, when we talk about building a trail in Sandwich in that area, it's gonna have to be maintained about 6 feet. So you could have it 48 inches wide. What's gonna happen is that brush on the side is gonna grow up, it's gonna come over. So I think the trail, my hope is that it remains at 48, but when we talk about maintenance in perpetuity, like it has to be a width wider than that that's tended to. So I think the initial.
Just asked for the 6 feet then, and sell it, instead of selling it at 48 inches, why don't you just say, hey, I'm gonna build it at 8 feet?
Yeah, and I think I have concerns about the communication in general. I mean, I think even I've been thinking about this project a lot. If it's meant for the community, why isn't there an access trail into your neighborhood?
Nobody in my neighborhood knows.
So I do have, and I think it's good that you're bringing up these concerns because it's going to be, they clearly want to do projects in perpetuity and we need to be able to give them good feedback of like, hey, these have been issues in the past, can we correct them? And they seem like a group that is not nefarious, that they want to come and work with us. So I know this is frustrating and it seems sketchy with these things in the filings and we want to get to the bottom of it. But I truly think that from everything we've interacted with them, they truly have the best interest of the community as a whole at the heart. You are the direct neighbor, and I understand the frustration because you are being impacted the most.
You know, there's a lot of trails out there. I don't know why can't we just leave our conservation areas alone? You know, a lot of bird habitat, a lot of reptile habitat. It's, you know, so I'll maybe just put in a parallel trail.
Yeah, I mean,
keep putting in trails. Like, where do we say?
We as a community, it's a community resource, and I think the idea of access to a community resource for fire prevention, if we need to get trucks out there, it allows, you know, the brush cutters to get out there more. Like trails, I think if we said we can't touch this land, we know that's not Cape Cod. Cape Cod's forests do not survive well if we don't touch them. Management, active management is what we need to encourage. And it's a shift from a philosophy that we haven't touched the land. We've been like, it's good to go. And I think the ability to access it and think, what help do we need to get in these areas? We don't know if we don't get there. So I think it's clearly it's a new thing. And I think the idea of how do we make it better is why I'm glad you're here, and we need to bring them back and make them good partners.
Right.
Because right now there's like a part of the partnership which we're distrustful of, and I think that doesn't feel good.
I remember specifically asking him what was the width going to be because they had done a really big trail down in Mashpee that was a big to-do. So I don't like the fact that we're hearing that it's 6, 8, or 10 feet. I really think it should
And if they wanted it, they should have asked for it. You're right.
And they also said no machines, and they're in there with a Gravely today. Gravely.
They did ask for like a push lawnmower.
That's
That I said was
okay.
fine.
Okay.
As long as it,
Yeah,
as long as it's
That's not what
That's
the
not
Gravely
reason-
is.
Yeah, Gravely is.
I haven't used a Gravely. I love my
No.
lawn. That's about it.
Yeah, Gravely would be a brush mower with like a brush mower attachment, right?
Yeah.
That's the one you see. I remember seeing like, not like a dingo.
Well,
Okay.
brush mower and a brush mower are different.
That's right.
So I guess
With no brush hogs, no tractors, no.
Yeah,
you know,
I was
you
thinking
get
they were
your
gonna
little
bring in like a track dingo
push
or
mower
something.
and mow,
Yeah,
you know,
moving
from,
material.
you know, what's this
It's
one?
just a walk behind brush mower.
Push Gravely.
Yeah, it's just a belt driven.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Billy Goat, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But one desecrates and one mows, right? Like,
They kind of both do the same. They both have blades.
Our whole initiative is, you know, protecting our natural resources, but here we are cutting in priority habitats.
Well, and that's the question that we need to get to the bottom of.
So
Right.
how do you resolve it? Can we write a letter? I was just gonna say, let's write this up. Can we get a resolution here? Can we find out what the application says? Can we go back to them and find out from,
I can
will they
ask.
let us?
But as far as NHGSP goes, I can request to see what their application looks like, but where it's not our jurisdiction, they don't have to give it to us.
Right.
Sure.
But are
Then
they
we can
friendly
ask
towards
NIMBY.
us, towards Conservation
I
Commission?
mean, they're a state organization,
Yeah,
so
that's
they
a
deal with a lot
one-sided.
of stuff.
It's a two-sided
It's
sword
a
actually.
American
Get it right
thing.
into that.
I have.
Because we deal with them a lot.
I get it.
If
Yeah.
he has the copy, why can't we get the copy?
That's what I'm saying, like, and not only that, we should be able to get it from NIMBA.
Yeah.
Jenna,
We don't
I
have
think
a
I would
copy.
go
The
right.
copy that I have is just the attachments. I didn't see what their formal
Yeah,
application
we should,
looks
we
like.
need to
I would
review
go
their
there.
formal application.
I would say
We need to see
NIMBA
what they
too.
said, and then we need, maybe Jeremy goes out and takes a look at the areas that are
Yeah, 'cause
now
you're gonna
10
see the
feet
width.
wide.
Well, and I still think that NHGSP and whatever NEMBA submitted, that's, you know, if NHGSP approved it, and even if it was incorrect, That's NHESP's jurisdiction.
Okay, then it stops before Discovery Hill. You follow what I'm saying?
But under NHESP,
Yeah, we wouldn't have any jurisdiction.
we don't have any jurisdiction when
Besides,
that lights up on the map.
well, I guess we,
The only jurisdiction
not
we have
in
is
the
since
area
your
that's
property, if
being
you wanna let them do it or
Yeah.
not.
Whole,
So-
separated by Quaker Meeting House Road.
I think there's two sort of parts. So I think the first part would be if we have proof that the NHESP was improperly submitted, we would have a justification to discuss like a stop work order, which typically works in wetlands protection areas. If somebody is building a house and they start a wall that's beyond where they're supposed to work, a stop work order is issued. So I think if you're able to provide information that says this was improperly filed and we can prove that, then we have to discuss with them, hey, we have a stop work order until this is resolved, because that is before us.
How soon do you want it?
NHESP can issue a stop work order if they haven't met their requirements. We don't have jurisdiction to tell them they can't work in that habitat.
If they're working outside of the limits of their work, which if their filing was 4 feet, do we have?
But they're not filing with us. They asked permission for us. It's not a formal notice of intent that they have exceeded their work limit.
So there's no, so we don't have.
I don't want.
no, I'm with you. I think we could still,
I mean, it's
basically-
Conservation Commission owned property, so you could tell them.
right, I think
You
that
have
we could do
control in
that.
that
I
sense?
think we could give them, like, we could buy time with something, like a nice formal piece of letter, for sure. What, would we be able to get them to do a restoration order? Probably not, if they fought it, but we would at least have something to say, like, hey, give us a couple weeks to figure out what the heck's going
If they
on.
want to keep the good, communications with us, they want to keep the good, they're going to
They'll
work with
stop,
us.
yeah.
And I think that Jeremy's right, I think they will want to.
Yeah.
So if they hear from us, they're gonna be amenable. So I think all we need to do is just ask them, let's see it, let's just figure this out. It may be just clerical, let's just figure it out, right? Let's go from there.
No, I really appreciate it, like.
No, this is what we're here for.
Yeah. And also as like a state wildland firefighter, I think you guys should also, if they want these trails, you're asking for in-kind contributions to cut back your fire breaks, like the carriage roads and stuff like that. But like, let's try to, let's preserve our natural resources. Let's stop. We have a lot of trails out there.
But
When is enough enough?
There's motorbikes out there.
Those are
That's
illegal
what-
regardless.
Yeah, so that was my third, that was your third point.
Dirt bikes, ATVs, any motorized vehicle on conservation property isn't allowed, period. So, I mean, if they're using.
But
Yes.
when you do
That- yeah,
something
that's
that
what we call it.
facilitates
Right.
that to happen, I mean, it's counterintuitive. I mean,
And their argument in the past is, those bike trails bring more people to the woods. People who are using dirt bikes are gonna look for more secluded areas where they're not gonna get reported.
I do
There's
remember.
pros and cons on both sides.
I remember you had said people are gonna go dirt bike and, how many trails do they have, like
They see a
4,000?
new trail. There's over 100 miles of trails, bike trails in Sandwich. And if a dirt bike goes by a trail and he's like, oh, I've never been down that before, what's gonna happen? He's gonna go.
Technically, his bike can get seized and you can go to jail because the police can take you because you're riding your
I
property.
bet Sandwich police hasn't even issued a citation. Police
Yeah.
If it was
versus
me
fire.
though, I would.
yeah,
stick
somebody
to
ran
the
over a railroad track in my property and there was nothing that was done. They drove down the railroad track, so let's just not think it's gonna get.
Well, we can't take that responsibility as a
But you can
board,
say-
we cannot.
You can say, hey, I don't wanna open up another trail because more dirt bikes are gonna be in there.
I do think it's a consideration that I remember being discussed, and if you do have a trail, there is going to be dirt bikes to follow, and like, how do you manage that? Like,
I mean, that's been an ongoing battle forever.
ever.
I deal with it all the time. I saw a dirt bike here. Did you see identifying information? Did they just whiz by? Was there a license plate? It's an
are there like
investigative.
trail cams that we could require
Nobody
NHTSA to
registers.
put up to?
Nobody registers their bike, so you're not gonna get, registration or anything
And the
like
times
that.
that I have gotten registrations with like the serial numbers on the back of ATVs, it gets reported to the environmental police because we're not law enforcement.
Right.
I can kick you out. That's about it. So I think
Put it in rock.
It is kind of
we do a lot of rocks, a lot of signs.
But rocks is a bad idea because how am I gonna get my brush truck in there if there's a fire?
And I think that is a good question of are there methods we can use that aren't rocks but are effective deterrents for entrance of dirt bikes?
You can not maybe build a trail in the middle of the woods.
They will build their own. as
Yeah,
well.
right,
There's
that's,
just
and
forever.
there's so many, it's like
Put
a.
a spur trail in off of that,
I I think moving forward, it might be productive to have NEMBA come back and discuss.
Yeah.
I can contact them tomorrow and just say, hey, pump the brakes again, come back in, the commission has some questions.
Right.
Can we have a
See what they
formal,
can do
like,
about it.
stop? Can the board say formally stop until we,
We have to
And
go
that
through
is
the
the
NOI, and then we'd have to
correspondence.
deny it, yeah.
We,
Formally make a motion, let's stop all.
how about this,
There's no
we'll
vote,
make an
so it's not
informal,
an
hey,
application.
why don't you relax, if it has to come to that, because we don't need to, you get more bees with honey than vinegar, so let's ask them first, and then let's see how they respond, which we are hoping. that
No
we won't
active
be.
maintenance, don't do any work
Yeah,
until we
just
can
say
talk.
like, hey, we have a couple of issues that were brought to our attention, we need to talk to them, and then they'll
And go
do
from
that,
there.
and then, if we need to issue a formal stop, we will.
so, all right, so what's the next steps for me? Just keep-
Can you get a course, something from them saying that you are interested in Discovery Hill area, and that is not in the filing, and they need to, and they're
Yeah,
doing work in that area, then they need to provide you with something that
I'm
says,
just,
oh,
all the Natural Heritage staff work from home, I know a lot of them.
yeah, okay,
So I'm just waiting to hear.
yeah, that's what I would
just
say.
report that, like I said, in email to, report it to NHESP,
Yeah.
make them aware. I mean, I've run into issues like that before where somebody has been doing work, it's not in conservation jurisdiction, it's not in wetlands, but I looked it up on GIS and it's in jurisdiction. Shoot them an email. I never hear back, I don't know what happened, but I, did my due diligence to say, hey, watch out for the turtle.
Take a photo if it's not a push lawnmower, take a photo. If you think it's egregious, let us know that they're not holding up to their end of the bargain, because we need to know that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know.
Frustrating.
It's frustrating.
Well, I mean, yeah, especially when I lean on you guys to protect our natural habitats and stuff like that, and we get
No, we appreciate it.
all these questions after the fact, and,
Yeah.
you guys are a great board, appreciate your time, and
Thank you.
appreciate the staff's time.
Appreciate it so much.
Thank you for coming in, if you didn't say anything, we wouldn't know.
That's right, that's right.
Perfect.
Is there anything else to sign?
I have nothing
No,
for
we
you.
just have to approve.
Just this one?
Yes, the minutes.
Oh. Oops.
Oh, here's
All right,
your-
did everyone
I think
review
one has made it
the
to the-
minutes from
Yes.
August 6, 2025? Okay, we can do a motion to,
Motion to approve the minutes as written from August 6th, 2025 meeting, the Conservation Commission.
Second.
all in favor? All right, good, are we good?
Same, I'll abstain because I wasn't here.
Was I here? Oh, shit.
Good,
Was I even here?
all right. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the September 3rd, 2025 Sandwich Conservation Commission at 7:12 PM.
Okay.
All in favor?